doing this work, it's the first time in my life that I haven't felt lost. And that's when I know that I'm on the right path, helping Mother Nature repair what we've been destroying in agriculture in Australia. A lot of the time I think myself as not being really artistic, and then I look at this building 15 kilometres of contour just weaved through the landscape, and it's art with nature and earth linked together. I can get a contoured map of a farm, and then I can start to see, all right, we have this really wet, eroded gully on your farm. We're going to pull that water by putting a pond in and putting a level contour, and I can take that water out of your eroded gully and put it out on the ridges to slow the water loss off your farm and spread it on the ridge, so we're minimising your erosion and your fertility loss and stalling that water up on your farm for as long as possible.
The way we've set this up and designed it, where the water comes in from the contour, on both sides we've left a sill. Water from the contour won't run into the pond until it goes above datum point. But as soon as the pond fills up and goes higher than datum point, water will flow out into the contour. Now what that does is it stops the fertility that might leak into the contour further afield running into the pond. What we don't want is all of our fertility in the pond. We want just water in the pond and our fertility to stay out in the contour. So by setting that up, you can change, just with the levels of the inflow, you can change how the water moves. The design will allow for water to spread over just at this area in a very high flow, will probably spread over about 300 metres. So it's a huge amount of water that this has the ability to manage, and then that will recede back as soon as that major flow stops. Now what that does is it takes the pulse out of the flood system moving downstream. So we can manage that flood sequence here and diminish how much that impacts any of the gully system downstream. Now it doesn't stop that water, it just slows down the time it takes to move to the bottom. So it's very handy when you're dealing with major flooding.
We homeschool the kids, and when I say we, Amber does 90% of the homeschooling. When we actually did the job at Glenmorgan, Amber was driving 2 hours to the homeschool group each week. Let the kids catch up with other kids there, so they've still got the social aspect, and drive back again. And the kids know that the homeschooling stuff's got to be done before they go outside or go down to the park or go to the skate park. There is a lot of laughter in this caravan, and there's a lot of laughter when I take one child, whether they're sitting in the digger with me or in the semi-trailer running up to Queensland to pick a machine up. I took Hendrix to work with me today, and we were sitting in the contour, and I said, "What do you want to do when you're older?" And he just looked me in the eyes and he just said, "What you're doing, Dad." I hope he does more than being a digger operator, but it can't be too bad. I make a living doing it. So this is our TopCon laser level. This is a laser level that we use when we're marking these contours out. It'll throw a laser beam 400 metres in each direction. So I've turned it on. Now what I do, I come over to my last mark, I set the staff up like this, turn the staff on, and then find my new mark. Lock that on there, and then what I do is I start to look at the landscape and see where the rises and the falls are. I'll walk around with the staff and go about 50 metres depending on the rises and falls. When I hear this, I then put a flag in the ground. Once we've marked the whole contour, I come through with the dozer, I drop my rippers in, and I follow with the tracks. When I've been through the whole contour, then I jump in the side by side and I go pull all of these flags out, and then just repeat the process contour after contour. So we reuse these, and we use this laser level to make sure everything's level through the whole contour. Implementing natural sequence farming, it can be done on 10 acres, it can be done on 10,000 acres, it can be done on 100,000 acres. We were releasing 15 acres with just a few cows and chickens when we did the Tarwyn Park course. So it was quite a big mix of large-scale farmers, hobby farmers, first-generation farmers, multi-generation farmers. If a first-generation farmer that's had no farming experience 5 years ago can be going out and doing this on the landscape and repairing the damage to our farmland, if I can do it, other people can go and do the 4-day course and start implementing this on their farmland and starting to repair the erosion and start to restore our agricultural land and keep farmers on country.